Hi, this is Kevin C. Mason from Jack Lucky Games, and it is Fighter Week. It's all about fighters. You know, those people that dive into the pile of goblins like an enraged gorilla in a chicken coop? There's the visual for you. Fighter Week is all about fighters. I've been tweeting about fighters. I have been going through Pinterest, finding all the best pictures of fighters. And now I'm doing a YouTube video on how to roleplay a fighter. What do you mean? Fighter. How hard could it be? Well, you'd be surprised. How many times can you remember someone else's fighter? What was special about them? Not very often. The reason why is because it's so easy to make the fighters just a pile of stats. So today we're going to talk about how to make your fighter memorable. How to make your fighter a legend. So if you're one of those players that are all about the tactical simulation and how to best get every squeaking little point out of your character, that's fine. But your character most likely is going to be forgotten because the best stats in the world are easily forgotten. A personality. Now there you go. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Code of Honor. What is your job as a player? Comments from the Twitter sphere? And how to make things more exciting. Some fighters have knives. Some fighters have swords, shields, different chest plates. But after a while, they're all kind of carbon copy of each other. I mean, if you just look at them from stats, they're not all that different. But they have such potential being amazing. So, here's the test. Is your fighter a legend? How you can tell? You ask one of your players, what's my fighter's name? That's it. What's my fighter's name? What was my last fighter's name? What is Bob's character's fighter's name? If they can't tell you, they're not a legend. But if they can, even if they suck as being a fighter, they have the potential of becoming a legend. And that's the difference. If there's something to that character that's beyond the dice rolls, then you have really made a kick-ass fighter. So what is your job as the person who's playing the fighter? Imagine everyone at the table is making a movie together. The GM is the director. You are the stunt coordinator. Your job is to set the tone for all of the fights. You're the one who determines the level of action that is visualized amongst the other players. So think about this. Do you want to do, I rolled a hit, I rolled a hit, I rolled a hit, I rolled a hit, I rolled a hit? Or do you want to have flashing of blades, swirling of steel? Better descriptions are the key to having an exciting battle. Because in your mind, yeah, you're doing exciting things. But to the other players, they hear, I rolled a hit, I rolled a hit, I rolled a hit, I rolled a hit. It's better if you slash upwards with your sword. It's better if you come down like thunder itself with your great hammer. It sounds better if you block with your shield, bracing for impact. These things really set the tone. Okay, so you're the fighter. You're the one that deals the most damage. You're the one that takes the most damage. So take some risks. Jump off that horse. I mean, yes, statistically, anytime you do something dangerous, the GM could ask you to make a roll and you could take some damage. But you're the one character that can actually survive that kind of stuff. So do it. Jump from that car. Jump from the horse. Leap into the pile of goblins, knocking them all to the ground. Turn around and find out that there's 90 stormtroopers in the hallway. That sort of heroic stuff is what movies are made out of. Don't always play it safe. And if you're a GM and your player starts taking some of this advice, don't punish them. If they're making your story sound more exciting, go with it. I mean, sure, if they're going to do something incredibly stupid, you should probably make them have a roll, or always use the, are you sure? But don't punish them. Fighters are all about excitement. Okay, let's talk about code of honor. So, every fighter has a code of honor. Or they don't. They have an opinion on how things are done. Now, if you have a character who is all about the code of honor, maybe you're a knight, maybe you were almost a paladin but didn't have the faith, maybe you were just born into it, maybe you're a samurai, then you have a very strict code of honor. And as a player, you should probably write that down. Now, it doesn't have to be the exact code of Bushido or the code of chivalry. Maybe it's a personal code. Maybe it's, no women, no children. Maybe it's, I only fight if I get paid. Maybe it is, I only fight non-humans. Or maybe I only fight in defense. These sort of things add to your character. Having a good code of honor, or the complete lack of it, really adds to your character.
A body falls past the window. Whatever. And you put it down and you feel like shaky all over. Both your hands are covered. Immediately peg him as a cogman.
So we've known each other for years.
It's Sumeshi. One of the knives is missing from a garter hilt because it is being pressed to your throat.
Damn.
We had a...
Oh my god!
So you took money from him, huh?
We talked about this earlier.
Recently attacked by the forces of the American Confederation.
Yeah.
Are you constantly checking for traps?
The Steamrollers Adventure Podcast is available at rigstories.com or on iTunes. You can also get it at Stitcher and Google Play.
Okay, this is a new section. You're doing it right. So, it's really easy to get caught up in the stats, especially with tactical simulations. D&D 4th edition was really notorious for that. Shadowrun is also really big on the tactical simulation. And situations like that, it's really easy to get caught up in the stats and think about, oh, I'm doing this wrong because I'm doing something that fits my character. I tell you, the most badass of fighters that I have ever had in any of my campaigns was Mr. Smith. Now, Mr. Smith was in a sci-fi campaign, and he was a fighter. Now, if I was to show you his stats, you would laugh, because they don't sound that impressive. But the player played him like an end-all, be-all badass, and because of that, everyone treated him like that. So it's not about the stats, it's about the attitude. And fighters are all about attitude. If you don't have the particular feat that deals the most damage, but you took something else that fits your character, you're doing it right. If you have a stat that's not also great, but you're playing to that stat anyways, awesome. If you are not as strong as the other players, great. As long as you're role-playing your character as if you are a fighter, a badass, it doesn't matter what the stats say. Here's a couple tips that you probably didn't think of. Around the campfire, when things are slow, your character is going to be sharpening their sword. If you're playing a samurai, of course you're sharpening your sword. You're making sure that it is immaculately clean. There's no blood on it. It is shiny. If you've ever spent any time in the SCA, the guys that get in armor and they pound on each other, you know that armor gets broken all the time. So you're probably repairing it. Minor repairs. These sort of things shows that your character understands the importance of their equipment. What's the point in spending all that gold on the +3 sword if you don't take care of it, right? As a GM, you should probably think, okay, if the player is spending all this time sharpening the blades, maybe it's a +1 sword, instead of just a regular sword. Maybe they've improved the quality of it. Or maybe if there's that critical fail, they don't break their sword because, well, obviously they've been taking care of it. things like that are something to take in consideration. And it adds to the feel of the character. Maybe you're training. Maybe you need a training montage. Maybe you need to practice that new skill. And as a GM, if someone's spending the time practicing a new skill, if they're practicing sparring with another party member, maybe you should give them a bonus working together. Maybe you should give them a bonus, for the next battle because they spent time training. Maybe they should get a temporary strength bonus or a temporary dex bonus. These sort of things, first of all, it adds to the feel of the character. It shows that they are in tip-top condition, and it makes it so it opens up the opportunity for conversations between the characters. It opens up a little bit more of the character's backstory, because maybe someone who's obsessed with being the best swordsman should be spending more time becoming the best swordsman. Okay, my last 2 tips is do your research. So if your character is using a particular weapon, look it up on YouTube. Even if that weapon is actually illegal where you live, there's a YouTube channel on how to use it. I did all kinds of research for Shadowrun for rifles that you can't own in Australia. So there's all kinds of information that you can find, like guns and swords and how to use a chain whip, how to use a flail. Look up the SCA, Society for Creative Anachronism. They'll actually show you how to build armor. Now, not saying that you actually have to walk into the game room wearing full plate, but having an understanding of what the individual pieces of armor are called can add to your character. It can add a feel to your character if you know how to properly hold a gun. It can add to the feel of the character if you know that you're supposed to hold your breath before you pull the trigger. Things like this just do little bitty things to add to your character. And that list builds. And the most important thing is, fighter is not a personality. It's a job. So don't assume that just because you're a fighter that you're going to be doing the classic, I have no past, I hate everyone, I don't have to have a personality. Okay, that's been done to death. This is the reason why no one's going to remember your character, because you haven't built anything. Unless you're using that as a part to start from, so this way your character softens up or, becomes more opinionated or becomes a more developed character later on. But the point is that you should have a personality. You should decide whether or not your character is someone that you would actually invite to your home.